If you don't know something, do not lie, ask me, and then I'll tell you the information. And, it'll, produce what it does, what it does. And then, if it didn't know something, it'll ask you the question. And so this way you give you a richer response.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Creators Pod. A few months ago, we sat around and discussed artificial intelligence and the different AI things that we have been using in our workflow. And so today we decided, like the good bots that we are, that we're going to repeat and find what the updates of what we're actually using still in our workflow, and has anything generally changed. So I will start with that question. Alec, let me know, what were you using? What are you using? Has there been changes, and any thoughts on what you're using now?
I'm still using Chat GPT, and that's kind of pretty much the only real AI tool that I'm using a lot, like all the time. I use it in everything. I guess what's changed, though, has been the way that I interact with it. So I think at the time when we recorded the first episode, it was still relatively new to me. So I tended to be doing things with, I guess at that time, more like single prompts. And, there was this sort of influx of people all over the internet talking about how to craft the perfect prompt, thinking that you've just got to have like a one-hit thing that's going to give you the result. I think pretty quickly, the way that I was using it evolved into just having a big, long conversation with it. And so then you don't need to be too concerned with individual prompts, because you're actually just, feeding it all of the information, all the background that you need, and sort of conditioning the particular conversation you're having so that then it can give results out. So I've just got a lot deeper with Chat GPT, I would say. I did have a little play around with some of the AI video repurposing tools that are out there. I didn't find any of those, to be honest, to give a great result for the time invested in getting the results out from them. And although I was looking to use it for my podcast to repurpose some of those episodes to where the guests were saying things, anything where it's wanting to repurpose my own content, I still come back to it's just quicker for me to just make a vertical video in Ecamm and record the thing again for the sake of a 1 minute video. Ask me if I've done that, though. I still haven't had time to do even that.
I'm guessing you haven't.
Yes.
So just Chat GPT at this particular point in time is your mainstay.
Pretty much. And I think the reason is there's so many things that are introducing AI into other software. I mean, Ecamm's got an AI title generator and things like that can suggest things. So everything is getting AI in it. Same with Kajabi. All of my courses are hosted on Kajabi, and so there is things that you can use to create a course outline. You can create a sales email and so on. The thing that all of these tools for me lack is the ability to interact with them to refine things. So there is virtually nothing, I would say, that has ever come out of Chat GPT that I've just lifted straight out of that and put into something else. There's always been that sort of back and forth that can take, some, many back and forths between me and those results to actually get something that I'm happy with, and then I'll even then be still, adding something onto it as well. So the tools that have AI built in I'm talking from a text point of view here, they lack that sort of conversational style that Chat GPT has. So for the time being, I'm all in on that, and I'm not really doing anything with graphics. So I know that the whole MidJourney and stuff like that is another thing. I've not gone down that rabbit hole yet.
True. So Michelle, same question. I think the same answer, but tell us what
Okay, well, I could say ditto, but I was kind of playing around with a bunch of different things. At the time, I was an OG Jasper user, since its inception, and I've spent the most time with Jasper. I've since kicked Jasper to the curb. I mean, sorry, me and Chat, we go steady now. We go now. So I've been a lot like Alec. Having conversations with it, and that to me has been the most rich responses and information that I was able to get having those conversations with it. And it's kind of cool because, as things continue to change, it always is like evolving. And so before, when we approached this subject before, we didn't have where you could, truly season the bot and like put global things in it so that, it will know about what you're talking about and, add even richer content to what it is that, you're prompting it to do. I found a workaround a long time ago in doing my work in silos. So I have like a whole bunch of different chats, but I've been able to, pinpoint the ones that are like really, really rich. It has all the information that I really want it to kind of like, use the information and then put some output out. And it's been really, really good doing that, just having conversations. It's so funny the way I talk to chat. Yo, let me holler at you for a second. Okay. So I took snippets of our conversation and then I kind of put it in another program that I use, Descript, and I put like AI voices to it with me having conversations with chat saying, why are you lying? I told you this months ago over here. And it's like, oh, I'm so sorry. I just saw that information. And then it'll do whatever. And then this the back and forth, the banter that I have with Chat GPT, funny, really, really funny. So
Michelle, there's a Chrome extension called Talk GPT that lets you talk to Chat GPT in real time with your microphone.
Nice. Okay. Okay, I have to check that out. I got to check that out. But I'm all in on chat, just like Alec, because the other ones haven't been able to do that. And I haven't been able to use like Bing and Bard and go back to like, things that I already started using. And, I haven't been able to do that like I have been with chat. So, yeah.
Rich?
I've tried there's a few external things that access ChatGPT, like MacGPT or Barely.ai, that are different applications that are like browser plugins or whatever that are supposed to be able to find ChatGPT and work on it. But I can't really get those to connect reliably through APIs and logging in and all that stuff. So I haven't had good success with those. I do use ChatGPT a lot for YouTube stuff, and if I have to do a product description or something like that real quick, I can knock that out. Take a list of bullets, because our industry is full of people that put out products that they just give you bullet points as to, here's the material, here's how it's printed, blah, 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 blah. And you can take those bullet points and make a cohesive paragraph out of it to where it sounds like somebody's actually describing something. So it's good for that. But graphic stuff, I use MidJourney, I use TraceJourney, which will let you take an image and put it on, like make a mock-up on a can or a cup or a bottle or a T-shirt. Mm-hmm. And that's another Discord thing. I use a thing called Vectorizer AI, so I can take a raster graphic, a JPEG or a PNG, and make an AI file out of it, or an SVG, a vector art out of it. And the other thing is ChatSpot. ChatSpot's a HubSpot thing. Have you used that, Rob?
I know I've been reading, one of the guys from HubSpot has been talking about it. I have not delved into it.
The guy named is Dharmesh is one of the founders. He's the tech officer or whatever. Yeah. He's the one that came up with it, or he's leading the team about it. But I can say to that, just like you talked to ChatGPT, I said, how many accounts did I close last week? How much money did we make last week? In English, just like that. And it'll come back with results based on the stuff in my system. So it's kind of cool. I'll dig the heck out of it. It's fun. And it's clumsy sometimes because it doesn't know what you're doing.
So, Dina, ChatGPT or anything else?
I had been using Jasper for a minute. I didn't really get deep into it like y'all did, so that was easy to kick to the curb when Chat came around. I do use ChatGPT for writing Etsy descriptions, getting my thoughts together for business meeting type of things. The other thing that I have been tossing around every now and then is I will do something in MidJourney, just to help me get an idea of what I want to do for a product label or a thumbnail or something like that. But I don't actually leverage it directly into the product. What else? Oh, what is that one called? The is it Glasp? Is that the right one, Rich? The plugin for videos.
For YouTube? Yeah, that's what I use.
That.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah, I love that because it pulls down a transcription and then, you can click a button, it goes into Chat GPT, and then it summarizes it. So if I'm wanting something super fast, I don't want to listen to the whole video, that generally is my go-to. So for me, it's I'm not using it as much to create content as I am. AI is helping me move things along faster, but I'm not actually using it in content creation per se.
That's the biggest thing for me that I get out of it as well, is it gives me that head start with things. So it's, things like creating outlines, creating stuff like that. Part of my thing is getting over friction and trying to remove as much friction from every aspect of my life as possible. And usually if there's something that feels like daunting, then that's going to be likely the thing that I'm going to maybe procrastinate on and not get done. And so having ChatGPT to just sort of like give me the initial course outline, even if I then go and like completely rehash it and do something different, I find that it's really good at sort of getting me going with things because of that.
See, I've been using ChatGPT to a certain extent for everything. I do have Copy AI, and which is kind of a version of Jasper at a certain level that was a fraction of the price. And I dug into that, and it has the learning aspect of it too, and it built in some chat aspect to it too, and has actually has a copy editor as part of it. So it's a good tool, but honestly, when it comes down to it, ChatGPT just seems to be the thing that just gives me the better results, and is starting to is getting sentient now. Is understanding where I'm going. I made the joke offline. I said I asked it another question outside of what my business was about, and I got lectured by ChatGPT like, do you really want me to answer that question, or do you just want me to stay on the topics that we've been talking about? And I get that. It's learning what I want, and I should focus on that specifically. I think my next question really kind of comes down to ChatGPT and something that was offered initially, which was web browsing. And in version 4, I'm not seeing that still. It was taken away from us a couple of months ago, has not come back. Has that been a problem for anyone?
I think it's there. Is it not?
No.
The thing where you can where it's got Bing integration that was beta for a while, they've disabled that again.
Yep.
To be honest, that isn't something I used to use a huge amount myself. So I've not noticed that as much.
Right. It was like, because you pay for this and you're thinking you're getting something taken away from you that you were using and you were paying for, but at the same time, I think it's just gotten so smart.
Yeah, it was a beta feature though. So for me, I always take those with a grain of salt. Anyway, it wasn't like something that was embedded. Not embedded. That's not the right word. It wasn't something that I thought that I was paying for. It was something that came along as I think technically the one where you can sort of pre-season it if you like. I think that is still a beta feature as well. I'm not sure, but yeah,
no.
I don't mind if
that's baked in.
That's
baked in.
That's baked in now.
All right.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, you could go in and totally put all your information in, and so it kind of works globally, which is kind of cool. So that it will stay on task.
It's only 1,500 characters or something like that, and when I put my descriptions in to the start, it's usually way more than that. If you want to put your full company history in and stuff like that, then you're not going to be able to do that. But just at least you can. Well, I use it to paste a URL, a press release URL in there, and it'll read it. It'll hallucinate the shit out of it, but that's fine. I mean, you can work around that as long as you read what it's giving you.
Yeah. So part of the prompts that I give it, I have like these silos that I use. I would say, if you don't, this was something that I used just this week. I'm like, if you don't know something, do not lie. Ask me, and then I'll tell you the information. And it'll produce what it does, what it does. And then, if it didn't know something, it'll ask you the question. And so this way you give you a richer response. So it's been good. It's been really good. I can't lie. It's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Well, I don't know I don't know. To me, it wouldn't, like, I asked it about something. Hampton Inn was doing something for waffles, like they'd had a fanny pack and a waffle weave robe and stuff like that. And it came back with, they've also got shower curtains and they've also got pet accessories and stuff that did not exist. And they also said all the stuff was available on Amazon, and it's not. So, and it didn't ask me that, or I don't know if it would. I don't know. It was just bullshit. But you gotta pay attention to what it's giving you.
For sure. You definitely have to. You definitely have to, because it'll tell you anything. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. No, that's a lie. And I will call it out. I'm like, no, where'd you get this information from? It's the banter that I have with Chat GPT is one of legend. It's amazing.
Well, and that's the thing with like Copy AI, and there was another tool I was using for a while too that would provide source annotations. But then you go look for those source annotations and you're like, wait, there's no there. Where did you really get this from? So you have to kind of go back and I as a research tool, if they give me source annotations, here are 10 articles that you might want to read on this particular subject and their URLs. And I go read them, that's great. I think that's a good tool. I've learned more by asking the question and it giving me the reason I want to read those articles. But in the past, it was like I clicked the link and it was like, the website was like, I don't know what you're talking about. I have no idea why you're visiting me. So I've been using MidJourney a lot, but I think and it's been a good tool for illustrating websites and pitch decks when I need kind of a specific type of photo. At the same time, I already pay for Adobe stock. So, I kind of have to think to myself, if I can't find it in Adobe stock, then I will go and dink around in MidJourney to see if I can make something that's appropriate.
My problem with Adobe stock is that it looks like stock, and all those stock sites, even the free ones, Unsplash and Pixabay and all that, they look like stock images. So It's much better as long as you don't have somebody with 25 fingers on one hand. That's really what you're trying to accomplish.
Right. Well, and here's the weird thing about stock imaging, and as a photographer, I look back at this and think to myself, I should have stayed in photography just for the stock. But in radiology, where I'm working for the day job, when you look for an image about a radiologist, 95% of them are a doctor holding up a film to the light, looking at some X-ray. They don't do that anymore. At least not at the hospital level. They might, even the urgent care centers are moving digital. So this whole, to find the image that I would want where a radiologist would be looking at a CT on a computer screen, MidJourney is great for that. At the same time, when you ask MidJourney for that, and you do it like in a certain style or things like that, everything is beautiful. The doctor's office as I'm talking about, not a doctor's office. And their computer screens and everything, the window, everything looks great. But then you look on the screen and it looks like they're X-raying Alien. The heads are, the heads are long and it's like, no, that's not what I want. So I've come to deleting the image off of the screens and then dropping in real radiology screens.
Have you tried using that new MidJourney in painting thing, where you actually edit the image that it gives you?
Oh no, I
Change the
haven't
color
gotten
to
that.
shirts?
No.
Yeah.
I'll dig into that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well, it's supposed to be
Okay.
pretty cool. I haven't messed with it myself either.
Yeah,
I used the MidJourney for let's see. I kind of like dip my toe in the water a little bit. It's amazing the stuff that it came up with. It's just so cool. And of course, I use Chat GPT to make me a prompt, so I take it to MidJourney and then go over there and go nuts with it. So it was really nice, to do thumbnails and stuff too. But I need to play around a little bit more with it. And yeah, I really I like kind of what I've been getting, and the stuff that I don't like, I would then bring it into Canva and then like take out the pieces that I don't want, or use Canva's AI to erase this and create something else out of something that MidJourney put out, and then just kind of keep zhuzhing it. So it's it's learning. AI is learning from itself in all different kind of ways. It's kind of meta. It's kind of funny.
Yeah. I was, admittedly I was using Jasper too, or I had I quit Jasper, and I thought, oh no, people are talking about all these recipes and things like that, and I'll dig back in. But again, it seems all cool and everything, and you're talking, you're reading these things from people who are doing these complex recipes, but at the end, all I have to do is like just ask the question in Chat GPT, and it's the level of resistance is low. Chat GPT is let me give it a try, and you don't have to. So I quit that. Copy AI is fine. It's a tool. It does some stuff that is helpful, but I think at the end of the day, that will go away too. And to get back to art, I mean, I have not yet played with. I have the Adobe Suite. I pay for the Adobe Suite, and there's AI functions in Photoshop now.
Yeah, and that is handy as heck. If somebody, some real estate agent gives you a headshot and you need a bigger background, just add more background. It's really cool.
Right.
It's really, it's really awesome.
Those are parts of it are great, and I look forward to that as well. So, but I do see MidJourney and what Photoshop are doing is two different things entirely. And so, I mean, there is a zoom in and zoom out in MidJourney, but that's, from the things that you've been doing. I did some really cool artwork, comic type artwork on our dog breed for some friends because they wanted some wall art. And so I created some stuff for them in that and sent them the images. But, each tool does what you need it to do. But, again, learning curve. And I don't have a lot of time to become some Jasper expert or something like that. I just want something and go and get something done and leave. So any other tools that we've seen that seem to be somewhat interesting?
I suppose there is one other that I've been playing with that's worth a mention, because we did make ourselves a little trailer with it for this podcast. So this is for some software called Veed, and I should point out that they're paying me to make a video about it. So take that with take that bit of information on board. But what I noticed with that was that some of these characters now that you can have, you type in what you want them to say, and then it's an actual, looks like a, photorealistic person actually speaking. It's getting a lot better than when I first took a look at Synthesia, which is another one of these ones for, having artificial characters reading. Those looked a lot more AI, shall we say, whereas the ones in Veed, they look a lot more realistic because they're obviously real people that they've got to that this is all modelled on. It's still a long way off being totally totally believable and realistic that it's not AI. And part of the reason for that is you can't actually sort of tell it what expression you want it to have. Like, you need to be able to say, at this point in the sentence, I want you to be full of passion. At this point, be, whatever it is, putting some emphasis on it. So it does still come across as rather sort of monotone, although the different characters that you can pick from, they do have, some is professional, some is casual and things like that. But there were a couple in there that I just thought were, really kind of realistic. So we're not far off, I don't think, having, realistic, full AI people being able to read things out.
Cool. Michelle, anything else that you've wandered upon?
Well, I've been playing with Opus Clips to go back to some of the old videos to create little snippets and stuff, little shorts or whatever. Jury's still out on it. I mean, it looked like it'd be really good if you didn't have like a whole bunch of overlays and stuff, and it was just like a plain talking head video where, you can get like your captions where you want it. It's a pain in the butt because I use overlays and all different things. And so trying to edit that, I feel like I've added more work to it. It'll find the clip that I want, but now I have to go back and edit it some more to kind of get it to look the way I want it to, because my show has all of these extra things, and it's just, I don't know. It's adding work to my workload, and I don't, anybody got time for that. So I don't know. Jury's still out on it, but as I learn about all these different things, I'll try it. I try it once.
My jury came back and said that guy does not know what he's doing. The Opus guy or the video guy, or
yeah,
me too.
There's thousands of them. I just don't like them. I don't like what they generate, and I don't like. I mean, the source material is probably the problem, because like you, I mean, I can't use this video because there's 5 of us on a screen.
Right.
So,
well,
I mean,
in my
chunks of it, I mean, you use pieces of it, but not the whole thing.
It's also the way it leads into it. I can always tell when somebody's used one of those kind of tools to make the clip, because it still doesn't come across as really fully thought out. There's always these little glitches and things like that with any AI thing where, there's something not quite right. And I find that with all of those, it just stands out immediately that somebody's just used AI to create those short form clips. The lead into it never seems quite right, and it's never perfect.
Yeah, the edits are kind of weird too. What it chooses to chop. It's just it's so weird. And then I went in there. It's not very. I don't know. I didn't find it to be as user friendly as I wanted to. Because I mean, I could go into Final Cut Pro and cut whatever I want, but with this, it's like, no, this is what you get, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't want this piece. It's like,
Stephanie Liu had a great use case for Opus Clips, though, and those kind of things, which was actually take your competitors' videos, drop those into Opus Clips, then have it pick out which it feels are the salient points, and then use that as a driver to then go and make your own content on that. And I thought that was genius.
That is awesome, because that Opus does do that well. It will go in and suck your content out and tell you what the good things are. So that's very clever. That's interesting.
Good. My problem has been of late is the voiceover, is the, AI voice tools. And I keep getting, people advertising. And I've been seeing those and playing with those for a couple of years. And I can't, in the 2 years, I don't really think the voices have gotten better. I mean, there are more options, but they're not necessarily better options. And I need some just generic, I would say, I need somebody to do some voiceovers for some of my short form videos for business. It's just easier to go hire somebody on Fiverr, and who has a good voice and can read something and drop an audio file to you. It's still to this day, the real human being is a lot more believable than an AI voice, and I'm sure someday there will be an AI voice that can fool people. But even when I did my voice into script, trained my voice into script, and then read a simple script back to my wife who was listening to it, without telling her what I was doing and what about the script, she just looked at me like, "Is that robot you?" And she was able to pick it out pretty quickly that it wasn't my a natural speaking tone. So yeah, obviously
that's what I found with that when I tested that feature is the voice that I used when I'm reading is clearly different to my natural speech. So I had the same thing as that when I used that feature in Descript, the overdub thing. It never sounded natural.
Yeah, and I don't know, how whether they really intended for long form transcription or long form speech in that. Every time I was, taking a lesson on Descript, you were replacing one or two words.
Right.
A short part of a sentence. You weren't going for a paragraph or two. So, maybe we're asking more of it than it really intended to be done. But yeah. So I just want to touch, Dina, is there anything that you've found that might be interesting that is off the beaten path?
Not really. Kind of tangential, I guess, is how much of this is going to stick around? Are we spinning our wheels, trying every new thing? I think that's something that kind of has been holding me back. Is I kind of want to see how it falls. There's a lot of them that you guys have tried and spent time on that I've waited to see how you liked it before I go for it. So I'm taking it all with a grain of salt. Clearly my attentions have been in other spaces right now, but I'm very interested to see what sticks because there's just a lot flying. One more thought is they're adding AI to a lot of products that off the top of my head doesn't make sense. Like, why would a project manager need an AI tool in a project tracking tool? I need to dig in before I really criticize that, but I don't know. I feel like it's everywhere because it's the thing right now, but maybe we need to temper ourselves. I'm talking to you, all of the product designers that just put it in there because it's in vogue. Do we really need it?
Well, and Rich mentioned HubSpot and the ability to ask it questions. And if the tool is looking at live data in analyzing, great, exactly. But if you're asking it questions and it has no focus point, no prior knowledge of it, then it doesn't seem to be worth it because how much training. If you've got a lot of data, it can look at and then make inferences off of. That's a great use at this point. But if you have to sit around training it for months, no, not so much. Absolutely. All right, folks, that was a great episode. I think more than likely as things progress, we'll have a discussion about these tools again, and we'll see if all of us are still using Chat GPT in 3 to 6 months. I probably think we are, but the question really is there anything else that we'll be adding to our workflows? So thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Thanks for hopping into our Creators Pod. If you enjoyed it, we'd love if you would subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and tell all of your friends. Check out the video version on our YouTube channel, Creators Pod. The Creators Pod is produced by C22 Media, Alec Johnson, Dina Taylor, Michelle Lawrence, Rich Graham, Rob Valls, and me, Keely Dunn. Thanks, friends.
All I do is Chat GPT, so don't ask me anything hard.